All right, I'm gonna throw two things in this video at once. I'm gonna talk about what 303 clone to get, and I'm also gonna talk about news on the Behringer front. So first off, what 303 clone to get. If you're on a budget, and by budget I mean a few $100, definitely just trust me when I say this. Get the Cyclone Analog. Oops, it's falling over. Get the Cyclone Analogic BaseBot TT. Doesn't matter what color you get. Don't spend the exorbitant. I always mess up that word. Prices for a Mark 1. The Mark 2 sounds just as good. The only difference is it doesn't look like a real 303. It just has this kind of look. Now the bad thing about these is these bottoms are like rubberized and they like get dirty and scratchy and sticky. But besides that, these are pretty good. And the only other complaint I have, the on and off switch is kind of flimsy. It feels like it'll break one day. And I wish the waveform switch was on the front. I think it is on front on some of the other clones. Now, you might be saying, well, hey, this is like 250. It was $300 when I bought it, but they're like 250 now. So definitely get one. But you might say, well, hey, I can save $100 or even more and get the Behringer clone. Guys, this is not even Behringer hate, okay? I have some Behringer synths that are great. But the Behringer 303 never sounded like that authentic to me. I know there's plenty of demos showing that it does. Maybe I just got two bad units, but it sounded like 90% there, okay? Whereas this sounds like 99% there, okay? So that might not sound like a big difference, but it is a big difference. You can also get the Roland digital clone, which I say sounds about on par with this, but there's just some of the characteristics of this being true analog that you can tell. Not everyone can tell it, but just how it reacts, it just sounds more natural to the ears. So I would get this over the actual Roland clones. Plus the Roland digital clone are much smaller than this. I mean, you can get the TB3, which is like that touchpad one. And that one's kind of cool. If you are going to get a digital clone, I would get that one just because of the extra features. But those used now are probably going to cost as much as these brand new, or maybe even more. Just get this. Now with these, I also got a bad unit originally. Originally, my first unit had a lot of background noise, and I sent it back, and I waited for years, and I finally got one of these again. I gave it another chance, and it sounds much better. So that is my take for you all on if you need a 303 clone, what to get. Now there's a few other brands that are a little more money or a little bit less authentic. Like you can get that Donner one. The Donner one doesn't really sound authentic. If you want something that's in the vein of a 303, but you don't want it to sound exactly like a 303, you want it to sound kind of different, get the Donner. But for the money, this guy is just $250. You can't get the Reddit anymore. It was a limited edition, but it doesn't sound any different. Get the silver one. Now on to the Behringer news. Okay, so Behringer news. Now I was going to show you all this. I'm going to set the phone down because I'm tired of holding it. If I can balance this thing right. All right. Like I said, I don't want to really be a news channel, but I want to just talk about something because it impacted me personally. So I've done the testing with my pedals with the Monologue. And I'm going to do some testing when I have more time because I'm actually building the pedals today. And I had to take my car and my grandfather's car to the shop today. So I've been pretty busy. But I'm going to build the pedals today. But I wanted to tell y'all that I actually ordered the ink for the other pedal I'm coming up with. So I'm going to tell you the other line of pedals is going to have a pink stamp. And it's going to be a white pedal. That's coming later. It's coming later, so. But for now, I'm working on the Fuzzy Loves. Now, I'm going to make, just depending, I'm probably going to make 10 and 10. We'll see, but I might actually make 15 and 5. But there's going to be two versions of the Fuzzy Love. So there's going to be the Fuzzy Love Extreme, which is the one you've already heard. And then there's going to be the regular Fuzzy Love. The Fuzzy Love Extreme is just going to push the fuzz envelope a little more. It's going to be a little less usable to more people. It's almost the fuzz where it gets into this just not natural sounding. Like it's beyond a distortion at that point. Kind of, you know what I mean? Fuzz is distortion, but like if you get the fuzz to a certain level, it's almost unnatural sounding. And that's kind of where the Fuzzy Love is. And it's great it almost has like this unnatural digital like sound to it, even though it's purely analog, which is kind of cool. But I know that's gonna not be for everyone, so I'm probably gonna make 10 of each, just to see which version. They're both gonna be Fuzzy Love. One will just be Fuzzy Love, and then Fuzzy Love Extreme. Whatever version you guys end up liking better. It's only gonna have one component. One component is gonna be changed, which is gonna be the output capacitor. The capacitor I used on the Fuzzy Love is what gives it. I know it's kind of weird, but it's what makes it have that kind of weird tone on the end of it. But I'm gonna switch that out to a different capacitor on the output, and that will make it sound a little more like less extreme. So that'll be the only difference. I might tweak the other capacitor. I don't think I need to though. But that's that. And the next pedal I have coming later, that one's still probably a few month or two out, so don't worry about that one now. So yeah, I'm actually, like I said, the winners, most of you winners have contacted me. One of y'all have not contacted me yet. So if you're the winner that hasn't contacted me yet, please do contact me. The bad thing is most of these winners are not in the US, so that kind of sucks for me, but I'm gonna figure it out. But I'm greatly appreciative that I have like a worldwide audience, and I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, but anyways, now into the Behringer news. Behringer, so like I said, I've been testing with the Korg Monologue, and I have the Behringer K2. I haven't used it yet to test, but I wanted to get a more easy, convenient synth that's very simple, that also has the keyboard in there to test my pedals, and I knew the Behringer MS1, you know, the SH-101 clone. I had one before, it broke, but they've worked out a lot of the problems now, so I would trust to get one. They're only $200, so I'm like, hey, if I don't like it, I can just sell it for the money I get it. I was gonna get it for testing purposes, like I got that $200 bass guitar for, but had it in my cart yesterday, went to go look at it today, and it's gone, guys. So there's good news and bad news. The bad news is it's gone. The good news is that means the rumors of the Mark II are 100% true. Now the bad thing is, through the grapevine, that the Mark II is going to jump up the price of $50. I don't know that I'll actually buy one now, that the price is jumping $50. I might just not, but I might. I don't know. I'll talk with my Sweetwater rep when that comes, and I'll tell them the situation, because I actually talked to him on the phone for about 10 minutes today, and they're like, hey, I was looking at one of these, and y'all just raised the price, but I was just about to buy it, so maybe I'll work out something with them, right? And I got it. I tried to, ask a few questions. I didn't get anything really out of them because, they don't want to spoil the beans, but a lot of the things they don't know anyways. But one bit of information that it was mostly a rumor that I almost can confirm now is the Behringer, the Jupiter 8000 clone. I forgot what it's the JT or JD 4000. It's a little $50 synth they made based on that. Well, it's been discontinued, guys, and it's not marked as discontinued on their website because they still have a few they're selling. But that makes me believe the rumor's true that they're coming out with a Mark II version where they add like real MIDI to it. So my guess is the only difference is going to be, it's either going to be maybe like $5, $10 more and add real MIDI, or it might be $100, but now they've added more polyphony and MIDI. I don't know which one of those will be true, but one of the two will be true. Now, it could just be discontinued for good, and they're just going to come up with a full-size synth. I don't think that's the thing. I think it's more of it's being replaced with something like-minded that's better, because a lot of us actually did complain about the MIDI situation. That's why I canceled my order, because of the MIDI situation. So, yeah, that's a little bit of tidbit of information to give y'all. And if y'all follow Synth News, y'all obviously saw that the UBXA desktop and the Behringer Proton have been released now, or at least for pre-order. There's been a lot of problems with the UBXA people have had, so, you can dig into that. I'm not going to talk much about that. But the Proton, even if you hate Behringer, it's an original synth. It's not a clone, so you can't really have too much against it. And it actually sounded pretty good based on the demos. It's about like $400. Now, here's the thing, guys. for the money, I'm gonna spend a little more and get something better, guys. I've been tempted. I think you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna see this as a sign. Like I said, I'm not religious or don't believe none of that, but I'm gonna see this as a sign that I'm not gonna get the Behringer MS1. I'm gonna go for what I've been wanting for years to get, but I just haven't bit the bullet and got one, which is the Behringer Monopoly clone. I really like so much about that Monopoly, and just the way it works is so unique to any other synth I have. So I think it'll fit well in my setup. So there you have it. I'm probably gonna get the Monopoly sometime. Now the bad thing is, Reverb lets you make Sweetwater lets you make like 6 or 5 equal or 3 equal payments, whatever. But the problem with that is they check your credit. And, I don't have a bad credit score. I have a 0 credit score. That's because I don't use credit cards. I've never financed, or anything I have financed has either been under the table financing, like not through a credit union or anything like that, just financed directly with a person. Or it was through like PayPal, and there's no like actual credit involved with it, right? I've bought things with PayPal that were like $500, and I paid like 4 equal payments on it, right? But that doesn't count. So even though I've proved myself that I pay those things, my credit score is 0. So I talked to my Sweetwater rep about that, and I would be 100% denied. Even though I've spent thousands of dollars with Sweetwater, that doesn't matter. It's all about the credit score. So, I could be a billionaire, but if I have no credit score, Sweetwater will deny me. But they did say I could check it through PayPal, so I might be able to do the PayPal pay in 4. So the thing with PayPal, it's not every month. You have to pay every 2 weeks. And you make 4 payments. So you'd have 2 months to make your payments. But the first one is due right away. So it's kind of like 1.5 months to pay it off. So it's still better than nothing. So if the synth was $600, I would have to pay like a fourth of that at the beginning, which would be a third would be $200. So 100 something. I could easily do that. Now, I could easily pay the whole thing when I get my paycheck, but then I'd burn through my paycheck, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm probably going to do, if PayPal allows me, I will do that. And I'll get the Monopoly as my testing synth instead of the Behringer MS1. I don't think Sweetwater will complain that I bought a more expensive synth. But like I said, I know you guys, some of y'all hate Behringer, some of y'all love Behringer. My definitive take is, there's 3 types of Behringer synths, right? There's clones of things that are out of production. There's clones of things that are in production. Actually, there's 4 things, okay? Sorry. There's clones of things out of production, clones of things in production that are basically a great representation of the original. There's clones of things that are back in production, but the new ones are like a shadow or just garbage compared to the old one. And then there's clones of things, there's things that are not even clones, they're just Behringer's originals. And Behringer's originals really boil down to the proton and neutron. So those, I don't think anyone should hate against those because they're original products, so yeah. Now, if it's a clone of something that's been out of production, no one's making it, think like the Monopoly, like Korg isn't making a Monopoly right now, so there's nothing wrong with buying that. Even though it's not their IP, Korg's not taking advantage of it. If they were, Now, another thing is like the Behringer K2 that I bought. Yeah, Korg has their own. The Behringer addressed some issues that the Korg had, like a horrible key bed, and the Behringer one offers both types of filters. So that benefit made me go with the Behringer. That one you can be 50-50 on because Korg is cloning it, but they did not as good of a job. But then there's things like Roland, where like Roland gives us tiny toy digital things. And those are just, they might sound great, but they're just a nightmare to work with. And you might want a true analog copy. So those, like I said, are 50-50. But the ones that are not acceptable are like things that are already being built now and they're built well. Like a lot of the Moog clones, whatever, of like, Subharmonicon and Mother 32, I think it's called. Those kind of clones, those rub me the wrong way. Because yeah, you're selling the same thing for a third of the cost, but like, Moog they're still good quality. They're made the way we want to, analog. They're not like, there's nothing wrong with them, It's just the price. So those rub me the wrong way. Those I would not buy. Even though I really would want to buy those, I would not. If someone gave me one, I wouldn't complain. Or if one was so cheap on the used market that I'd be a fool to, like, if it was like $50 used or something, I couldn't resist. Like, I might buy one of those used because you're not supporting Behringer at that point, directly. But those are the ones I would avoid new. Even the Behringer K2 guys, the MS-20 clone, I still felt bad about that. That's why I haven't even got it out of the box for a year, because I still felt kind of guilty buying that. So even those things that are that close, I'll probably avoid in the future. But like the 101, there's other companies cloning the 101. And the one Roland gave us is this little digital toy. So I can't blame people who want to buy that. So there you go. That's my opinion. That's the final time I'm talking about my opinion on Behringer stuff. So there you have it. I'm going to be building, like I said, I've been busy, but today I'm going to build more of those Fuzzy Love pedals, and tomorrow as well. And I'm also going to bleach my hair tomorrow, so I'm not going to show myself now because I want to let y'all see the crazy aftermath of tomorrow. So yeah, winners, thank you for contacting me. Like I said, I'm giving that last winner who hasn't contacted me until the 20th to contact me, and by then I'll get back with the winners and we'll discuss the prizes and things like that. By the time I'm at 1,000 subscribers, I plan on doing a little bit bigger giveaway for that big milestone, because at 1,000 subscribers, I'll finally be able to monetize. Now, here's the thing, guys. Originally, I didn't want to monetize this channel because I thought that ruined my integrity, but I have to, and here's why. It's not even about the money. The reason, well, I mean, kind of, but not really. The reason is YouTube is going to run ads regardless of whether I get paid or not. So I'm basically making content for free for YouTube right now because YouTube's still running ads at this moment as we speak, and I don't get paid a dime. And even once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I won't be back paid what I'm owed. Because if I was back paid what I was owed, I'd probably get thousands of dollars, but it's not going to happen. They're not going to do that because they're, a large company and get away with it. So you used to be able to block ads on your channel if you didn't want, but now YouTube will force them. The only thing I think you can do, I think you can block like mid-roll ads. There's some channels that will have like a 30-minute video and it has like 8 mid-roll ads. They're doing that on purpose, guys, because you can block mid-roll ads. The only ones I think you can't block, it used to be the only one you can't block is the ad when the video starts, but now they have ads when the video ends, and I think you can't block those either. So my channel will have those ads. Just because I won't be able to block them, or even if I try to, YouTube will still run them and YouTube will make the money, not me. But yeah, that's that. I'm still not going to take like sponsorships. Like, you see all these places for like mobile games or whatever. Now, if someone sends me a product, would I maybe make a video on it? Sure. But I'm not going to go ask a brand, hey, send me something, or if they said, hey, we're going to send you this, but you got to say something good. It's not like, there's a lot of YouTubers that even though they might get stuff for free and they're honest about it, they might hold back a little bit because they're afraid of ruining a relationship with a manufacturer. I'm not going to do that, guys. So if any brand ever sends me anything, if it's horrible, I am going to destroy it with my opinion. So if you're a brand, you better not send me something if you have any doubt in it, because I will put it through the ringer. But I'm kind of positive anyways when it comes to gear, because I like almost all gear. I mean, like if you sent me like a digital amp modeler guitar pedal or something, I would probably just dog doo-doo all over it because I don't really like the digital pedals. But if you sent me anything analog, I'm probably not going to say anything bad about it. I might say, well, this is better for the money, or that's worse, or whatever. But yeah, but that's not going to be a problem because no one's going to send anything to me because I'm an insane nut job and they probably don't want to associate with me. So yeah, that's probably best for their brand's reputation, and I don't blame them. Plus, my videos are horrible quality. I mean, look at this. I am slowly but surely upping the quality, but I'm just so busy, and with my ADD, it makes anything I do seem like a mountain out of a molehill, right? Like you guys, normal people, neurotypical people will wake up in the day and say, okay, I gotta wash my laundry, dry it, cook dinner, go to work, walk the dog, clean my room, and, work on my job or business or whatever. But me, it's like I think about that and there's just existential dread. And it's part of, having ADHD, and it makes life very hard because it's really hard for us to force ourselves to do anything that we don't want to. Now, a thing is, a common misconception is that we are extremely hyper, and that is true if we are happy and excited about something and we're in a good place in our life. But generally, because of the way the dopamine works in our brain, it's not that depressed people just don't produce the dopamine. ADHD people produce the dopamine, but they can't use it. That's the difference. So that's why we have to do very, very extreme activities to be stimulated, Like people with ADHD are more likely to want to go skydiving or, do motocross or other dangerous activities just because we don't feel anything. It's hard for us to feel sometimes. Our emotions are just so buried, especially our happier emotions, because of the lack of dopamine, and we can't get dopamine. So yeah, you might be a person that's misdiagnosed with depression, but really what you have is ADD. It's very possible. So yeah, it's basically a permanent depression type symptom that cannot be righted. And the only thing you can do is try to power yourself up. Like generally, because of the lack of dopamine, we are functioning slower. Like I'm talking faster to this video because speaking to you guys is something that excites me. But generally, like everything I do about at half the speed of most people, or 1/3 the speed. But like when I drive, I could like outmaneuver anyone. I know I could be a great race car driver just because driving is such a pleasure to me. But that's why I got a job doing that. Not a race car driver, but driving. But most things are just draining, completely draining. Now there's also a chance, I'm not sure. I've done testing. It's kind of hit or miss. There's also a tiny chance that I could be slightly autistic on top of that. I don't know. My mother and both of her parents are. They're not diagnosed, quote unquote. My grandparents not because of the age. But I got them to take the test and it said they had it. Like, we're like, well, online tests don't say nothing. There wasn't even like a doubt. They were so like, it wasn't even where there's like, this is online test, it could be a little wrong. Like my grandmother, for example, it said there's a 90% chance that she was autistic. 90%, okay? Like even you online test margin of error, that's just so. And I got her to take multiple tests, and they were around that range. My grandfather, I can't get him to do it because he doesn't want to face reality. But my grandfather is even more obvious than my grandmother was, rest in peace. But I think my grandfather also has ADD on top of it. So when you have ADD and you might also have autism, they'll definitely kind of balance each other out so it can make you more functional in society. Like my grandmother, she just hid away. She never wanted to be around other people, even her family, and she just hid away in her own little world. Except when it came to me. Like with me, it was like, she was a different person, but anyway, anyone else, it was, And there's things like that. I don't want to bore you, but it just runs in the family having both. And on my dad's side, my dad has ADHD and my grandfather has ADHD. Maybe they have autism too. I don't know. I don't think so, but they are highly ADHD. So my ADHD is very, 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 very extreme to the point that it almost makes my life unmanageable. Like I said, I don't want to get political, but if you see how like Joe Biden's been acting with his Parkinson's/dementia, not exactly the same, but if your ADHD is bad enough, it's almost living like that. I've been like at that point almost my whole life, but it's different. Like I never forget anything long term, but I'll forget what I did 10 seconds ago or a minute ago. If I walk through a door, I forget you know what I mean? Things like that. Anything that I touch, like this synth is sitting in this closet. If I walk out of this room to go to the bathroom, I'll forget that I even brought this in here, and I won't find it for a week or two. It's little things like that, and also getting distracted, and tasks are very frightening to us, and it can just it's a nightmare, and things just take us so much longer because and if we do a task, we gotta focus on it, guys. We have to burn out the whole entire outside world and focus on what we are doing. we have to let go of the rest of the world, because if we don't do that, we are not going to be successful. Like when I build my pedals, I have to dedicate, this is what I'm doing. I can't be distracted. No one can let me do anything else. Like, don't ask me anything. Don't call me anything. I have to turn off my phones, because one thing will lead to another, and I'm done. And that's just what it's like living with ADD. It's not a fun thing. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. The only benefit of it really is it makes you have a more creative mind. That's really the only benefit of it. There's no other benefits besides expanded creativity. That's really it. But if with my ADD being so extreme, if I even was slightly autistic, it would be completely covered up, and it'd be hard to diagnose. And the only really symptom I have that's autistic trait is my lack of social skills. So I don't have a lot of the traditional things, like not being able to read body language or read jokes, or just some other very common traits. I don't have those. The only problem I really suffer with is just making friends or social interactions. Like, so it's not that I can't do it. It's like I'm pretending. My whole life I've been pretending to be a person. Think of it like if someone was a freaking alien from another planet and they're pretending to be a human their whole life. That's what I felt like. Not that I'm an alien, but I'm just pretending, because I never just get other people. I can see someone's facial expression. I can tell what someone's thinking, but I can't get to be part of the club, to be someone else's friend. It's just not worked for me. Never worked for me. So all my friends I've had, 99% of them have been non-neurotypical. They've either been ADHD or autistic or both, including my fiance, who is autistic. Yep. But never had any neurotypical friends. So unless they're just brief acquaintances, maybe at work or online viewers of my channel, but not like real friends. It's always been more of non-neurotypical people. So that's that. So that's why, you've seen me. I've been doing this pedal journey for so long now, and it's taken so long just because of those things in my life. Plus, there's been other things. I've had massive health issues that are mostly worked out now, but some of them are not. Family issues, other things, plenty of things. And it's been rough, but I'm not going to quit. I'm never going to give up. Yeah. And I got to do so much marketing. I got to do a lot of marketing for the pedals, because I am so thankful of the 609 of you, but it's such a very limited audience of who's seeing my pedals right now. And if I ever want my pedal company to be successful, I got to get more wider appeal. That doesn't mean I'm going to sell out. I'm not going to move to surface mount components, nothing like that. It just means I need to do some advertising. And I have some of that planned. I just want to wait till my first line of pedals is built, because I don't want to do the advertising, have people hungry for the pedals, and them not be available, right? And I've had one or two people contact me, well, actually 2 people contact me, that they like my one-of-one pedals, but they're waiting for the Fuzzy Loves, because they want to get the series pedals. They don't want just the one-of-ones. So I do see that the series ones are more, I guess, desirable to most of you. The one-of-ones are, some of y'all like the one-of-ones, people who like to be different, but most people in the pedal world, they want to have a certain kind of sound and want to have a little community of other people who have that kind of a pedal and things like that. The one-of-ones are kind of more niche. So yeah, the one-of-ones are just going to be something I release every once in a while. Only reason I released so many one-of-ones right now was because I was testing the water on my first design. They were basically prototypes, the one-of-ones were. So that's that. I'm actually working on I don't know if it's going to go through right now, guys. It might not happen. I'll let you know if it happens. But I'm actually working on trading some of my pedals for someone's synth. They're debating if they want to do it or not. We'll see if it happens. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. No skin off my bones. But, or my back, whatever you want to say. But that's that. But only health issue I've really been having now, guys, is my throat. It feels like something's in my throat, but what I really think it is, it might just be that my uvula is enlarged. Because my doctor saw it and she said, hey, it's twice as big as most people's uvula. Oh, that's what she said. No, but that's the little thing that dangles down in the back of your throat. And I think it's dangling down so far that's touching my throat and causing the discomfort. So yeah, because I'm not, because I might cough sometimes after eat, but I never cough up like blood or nothing. I don't feel bad or nothing like that. So, and I've been noticing it for like 2 years now, but it only started to get slightly worse recently. But I have an appointment to have that looked at next. It was supposed to be last week, but there was a miscommunication, and it now got delayed another month. Wonderful. But that's that. Sorry, my throat. So I drink a lot of water because I have to drink a lot of water because it gets dried out, and when it gets dried out, it makes me cough. But there you have it. Fuzzy Loves are being built. What did y'all think? The stamp came out pretty good. I ordered a pink ink for the next pedal. The only hint I'm giving you is it's going to be a toilet stamp. You've seen it if you watched an old video. Toilet stamp. It's going to be pink, and the pedal's going to be white/off-white. And you might be thinking, what's he going to call it? It's going to be something obviously toilet themed. But yeah, I was originally leaning towards doing a brown toilet, but I'm like, let me do like a retro color toilet. Like I have a pink toilet here. And like, let's do a pink toilet. That'd be fun. So the pedal's most likely not going to be called the pink toilet. That's just simple. I do have a name in mind. I'm gonna keep it a secret for now, but I have a name in mind. But yeah, today I'm gonna do the first testing of using power adapters instead of like battery power for my pedals. If that works, then I'm gonna move to that for some of these. So let's just say if that works, right? If that does work, this is what I'm gonna do. Because these pedals are smaller and there's not really room for the battery, if powering them by a wall jack ends up working without too much noise interference or anything like that, then I'm going to make most of them that way. I still might make like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 maybe battery powered. But the most of them will be wall jack powered if, like I said, if it works right. If it does it well, I'm also going to make one of them. I've already pre-drilled them, guys, so I can't really... I was going to make one of them have a hand switch, but I've already pre-drilled the switches, so that's not going to be possible. But if I make another batch of them, or on the toilet ones, I'll make a hand-powered one as well. Like I said, I'm still deciding, guys, if I want to... Oh my God, excuse me. If I want to... keep that gain knob on there because it has minimal range, or if I want to bypass the gain knob so I can make these a little bit easier and give you guys more battery room on the inside, because the battery room is very limited and that kind of causes some issues. So I'm leaning towards deleting the gain knob for 2 reasons. 1, for room, and 2, because it gives you even more gain. Like I said, this isn't the same pedal, but think of the Boss HM2, used famously like bands like Entombed and things, Left Hand Path, all that. The great album. But there's people that would do a mod to those pedals to completely like remove the knob for the gain. And if you remove the knob for the gain, it gives you like maybe 5% more gain. It's a small amount, but it's still enough to notice. Okay, it's small, but enough to notice. Now some people might say, well, it's not worth getting rid of the ability to change the amount of gain just to get a little more. Guys, y'all know the HM2 sounds best when it's at max gain. And I've heard some with the knob delete. Ooh, sounds so good. So, listen, I probably will do the delete because that fuzz, it'll just give you a little more of that fuzz because it's already an extreme fuzz. And it sounds so good. And it'll save on the room in the pedal, so they'll be more reliable, because the limited space in the currently built ones can cause some issues with fitting the battery in there. So yeah. So if I do make some, any that are battery powered, definitely going to have the knob delete. But ones that I do have a knob on there will definitely have to be wall powered if that's a viable option. But that's enough ranting. Like I said, I'm grateful for every subscriber, every person that gets my pedals and enjoys them. I know We have a very limited audience right now. Most of you who have bought gear from me are repeat buyers. So out of the people who buy my circuit bent synths or pedals, I would say like 50% of y'all are repeat buyers that have bought at least 2 things. So I'm grateful for that. And some of you have even bought 3, 4, and 5 things. So yeah. I am saying I am sorry how expensive shipping is to European countries right now. I'm going to work on some ways to figure that out. But the only way I could ship less is to take away tracking. But that's not an option with Reverb. So I'd have to ship personally without Reverb. And you would have no assurances. So if it didn't arrive there, you're kind of screwed. So, you know. The shipping, I looked into it. Shipping is like $70 to $80, guys, for a pedal to go to Europe, most of Europe. It's nuts. It's insane. I feel so bad for my people in Europe who want to get some of these pedals and can't because of the shipping is like the price of a pedal. So yeah, that's that. But the good news for you guys is y'all are playing the waiting game. So right now, Americans are going to be getting the cheap shipping for like $10. But 3 years or so, I'm moving to Sweden, and then the Europeans will get the cheaper shipping, and the Americans will be kind of SOL. So yeah, it's a waiting game. If you're an American interested in my pedals, I'd definitely buy them within the next couple of years while I'm still here because the shipping will be much cheaper. But once I move to Europe, the shipping will be more expensive here. But I do plan on keeping some of my parts in a building station here. So when I visit here, I'll build some for the American market, and I'll build some for there, but there'll be majority will be built for the European market, just because I'll be living there. But for now, the next 2 or 3 years, it'll all be built here. So that's that. Well, thank you all for watching, and hey, one last thing on the MS1. Don't go FOMO. Please don't go FOMO and buy an MS1 on Reverb for like $300-$400. Because they're out of production. Just wait. The Mark II's coming. Yeah, it might be $50, $60 more dollars, but the ones on Reverb are a scam. Why would you pay used for the same price or more than a new? Come on, guys. Come on. Use your head. Don't let the FOMO get you. Unless it's FOMO for my products, of course. Oh, then definitely let the FOMO get you. But what I'm doing right now is every bit of money that I'm making off of my pedals is going into growing the business more. When you buy pedals, it makes me order more parts to make more, to design more types of pedals. So that's what it's going to. It's not like, oh, he got this pedal money, now he's rolling big in the bins. That's not what's happening. Yeah. I recently, like I said, bought a vehicle. Well, I didn't really buy it. I'm paying monthly, but like I said, with no finance, like with no lease agreement, it's 0% APR. It's a cheap $5,000 car. But I'm paying for that with my new job. I'm not paying for that with the pedal making money. So yeah, that's that. Well, I'll see you guys, and yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment because it helps. All right, see ya.